Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe now would be a better time than ever to dive headfirst and go under the skin of your first EP. This has been this was released on December 13th of last year, so we're getting closer to it having been a year since its release. This EP is called Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze. EP cover is super sick. I remember, I think, finding you personally for the sake of looking back and thinking about like how this session came to be, right? So looking back, we started talking May 20th, so spring of this year.
Yeah.
A good chunk of time, really, after this EP
Yeah.
came out, but thankfully not too long after it came out. And I remember the conversation was pretty casual. It was pretty simple. I'm like, hey, you looking to jump on the show? Yeah, a podcast? Yeah. And then we got everything kickstarted. But since then, going to your Spotify page, you currently have 40 monthly listeners. I think this is to be expected because there's only an EP out so far. And hopefully after the recording of the session, that will take a drastic turn. Maybe, like with Backyard Savagery based in Utah, we offer then and utilize our platform to promote this band. And if you wish, of course, good old Filip, hopefully then this project becomes a bigger thing and you can have more people working with you and perfecting it, making it bigger than ever. I can only hope for that. But currently you have 40 monthly listeners and, well, let's see, it's Serpent-Headed Monstrosity is your most played song over on Spotify, but we have 4 tracks on this EP. So if you could provide us a back of the book summary for Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze, say this was a short story, a short book, what would be the back of the book summary for this 4-chapter story?
Well, I choose this theme for the band based on the God of War game series.
Ah, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of the first, of the Greek era of God of War. So basically, the backstory of this AP is that, at least is what I noticed, everybody was afraid of the Medusa. Because, of course, she was turning everyone to stone and was violent and was attacking everybody, and someone had to stop it,
Fair enough. Okay. So then
Yeah,
this is simply an introduction to the wrath of Medusa,
yeah,
which happens to be insanity through deification after victimization, and that's kind of what the story of Medusa is by itself. So then turning the story of Medusa, also inspired by the events that correlated with Medusa inside of God of War, we have then this project, right? So then we get started with track 1 of the EP, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just introducing us to Medusa, but what makes Serpent-Headed Monstrosity unique? As the first ever track on an extended press Insanity Deification release. Like, why did we start with a track like this? Why is it named this? Take it away, sir.
well, I think it's among the most catchiest song from the AP because of the chugs.
Awesome.
Of course, I feel it has elements. I think attack death enjoyer might find pleasing. Simple death metal enjoyer might find it pleasing. So yeah, it has everything for everybody. Blast beats, alternate picking and stuff. Oh,
Awesome. So we go right out the gate then, musically speaking, with a whole bunch of different catchy stuff, and probably the reason why it is the most listened to song on Spotify. Does that make sense? Right out the gate, just really fun, really catchy. A great way to introduce everyone to this project. Track 2, we have Gorgon's Veil.
This one is like a continuation of the first one. Actually, this was the first song I ever written for this project. And then Serpent-Headed Monstrosity came, but I decided to order them like this to make the EP feel like a continuation, like a story, you know.
Fair enough.
So it just felt right.
Yeah.
To put it there, the second.
And when you're operating a project by yourself, sometimes you kind of just have to go with instinct. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah. Track 3, we have The Eyes That Blind. Medusa, for sure. And is this song maybe talking about the petrification? Or is it introducing us to the premise of Medusa and her power? Like, well, what's different about this one compared to the other 3?
Yes, this one basically shows the full potential of the Medusa and what her power can do the victim, and actually what the victim feels in the moment of being petrified.
Okay, I like that. Cool. And the 4th track, Metamorphic Petrification. I can only imagine this is the end result. Like, this is like, oh yeah, I've been turned to stone. I'm doomed for all eternity.
This is like the final stage.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm dead.
So in that case then, my friend, because, you know, you're still writing this project solo, obviously you have next a 10-track album coming out. So why did that album not end up becoming an EP, like a second EP?
No, because I wrote the EP. It actually did pretty well. It was released on CD by CBDC Records from Russia. Was released on Jewel KCD and Digipack CDs, and also I think they still have some shirts left.
Okay.
And they were supposed to release this album as well. I mean the deal was for the EP and the album, so I made the album. But because of personal reasons, they can't put it out anymore. But they managed to talk with a label from the UK to pick it up from them.
Okay.
So it will be released in physical format.
Sweet. Okay. And then at the end of the Under the Skin session for, you know, this first EP, and to quote the name, that way I don't sound like too much of an asshole, Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze. I was about to say something else, and I'm like, we should probably quote the EP title, shouldn't we? So after then doing an Under the Skin session for Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze, you know, we're recollecting upon this EP before, possibly later this year, we have Filip return for this new 10-track full-length album. What would you say, in your opinion, not grand scale, just in your humble opinion, distinguishes Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze from other iconic records, albums, EPs, maybe even standalone singles that were relevant to its creation? Meaning, what do you think makes this EP different from the albums that inspired it?
Uh, I think the ideas, I mean, musically speaking, are different ideas, different places, and all put together, so it can create the final product. Basically, I have a lot of technical parts in this album, but it also has like an old school approach to it. So it's like a blend of old stuff with new stuff. It's like a middle way between these two.
Fair enough. Okay. So
I mean,
then,
this is how I feel about it.
right, and really that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's all about that perspective from the person who created this stuff. So then, truly speaking, simply speaking, Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze ends up being a bridge, or maybe even an affair-born child from all of these different bands that inspired the record in the first place, which, that's just chemistry. That's just how that works. You mix different aspects from each of those records, and then you have this first EP. I can only then imagine how this 10-track full-length album you got coming up will sound as well.